Welcome to my daily review. Today is Tuesday, September 23. You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq, which gave up 215 points today, or 0.95%, and a little bit above average 50-day volume. A lot of people were complaining today about Jerome Powell because the market was doing okay. And then Jerome Powell spoke, said, stocks are kind of highly valued or whatever. So if we took a look at the and it kind of sold off here. Whoop. So anyway, you know, and then of course the people are saying Rosh Hashanah, started today or last night. So today was the first day. You got to sell off. But the Nasdaq was due for this. I talked about it last night, how it was more than 6% above its 50 last night, 6.2%. And it's usually the area where we see a little bit of give back. I know before back in here it was more than 6%, right? Where was it? Where do I have to go? Maybe back in here where it first started from Liberation Day. Yeah, it was 10% above and then pulled back. So, but since we've had this rally, since the right here, it's been about 6% and it pulls back, and that's pretty normal. More than 6% above the 50, it likes to pull back. And all it did today was pull back to its 5 EMA. That's totally fine. Closing at 22,573. Right now, it's 5% above its 50 and 2.3% above its 21. So, a little more give back the next couple of days, not the end of the world. There are a lot of quality stocks set up in bases and look like they need to form handles. So that's bullish, I think, for maybe not the end of September, but maybe into October. We could start to see some different stocks moving. When the Nasdaq is down, I'm not going to go through the other index. You know that Tesla going to give some back, and then Apple give some back. Uh, Let me see, AAPL, if I could spell it right. Apple gives some back. So, NVIDIA up 7 yesterday, down 5 today, gives some back. Just an inside day. As it pulled back right here to its 50, you can see those three moving averages converging there. Yeah, they're all within 1.2% of each other. Yeah, not bad. Tight, that's tight trading. So we like tight, but yeah, when the Nasdaq's down, these things just give back a little bit. 1% for the Mr. Softy, Google, yeah, barely nothing burger. Amazon, 3%. Amazon's got that lawsuit that they got a cut cloud hanging over them. And then Meta down 1.28%. All right, that's it for the Nasdaq. That's it for the Mag 7. I gotta, today, if you watch the post parade, I talked about the flying things, the machines that fly, and the quantum computer stocks were the ones that were the stars of the show today. And IONQ had news this morning, and these are, how shall I say, they're not overvalued. They're just speculative stocks. Like they don't have, you're looking at a 21 billion market cap now with I don't know, 50 million in sales, if that. So there's not even to say they're overvalued is like they're just speculative stocks, The investors are speculating these are going to be um, b big companies going forward. They're going to generate lots of sales and earnings. And it's just like the 1990s, reminds me a lot of the 90s where there was a lot of stocks that were supposed to do well and they ran up a lot, then they just flattened out, did nothing. Then the dot-com crash came and they just were yeah, went into oblivion. And I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with these, but there's no way to put a value on these. These are not trading on any fundamentals. You could throw the fundamentals out the window. These are all strictly technicals. You're looking at 1.5, 1.8 million in sales. So what do they got? 5 million in sales and a market cap of 9 billion. So yeah, you can't even say there's a valuation here. It's just highly speculative. And this one was up a lot today. Rigetti, QBTS, another one. Yeah, these things are all just out of whack. And you can complain all you want. I see a lot of people complaining like, these things shouldn't be doing this, but they are. And that's the game that you have to play. Remember, Alan Greenspan said irrational exuberance in 96 and the market rallied nearly 4 years after that. So these things could go 10 times from here. and before they crash and burn, and they're going to crash and burn. It's just you don't know when, and you just got to play the game until something changes. This one was up only 6% today, a laggard in the group. This one's actually trading near a buy point. Nice little base here for quantum computing QUBT. But yeah, down 8% this week. That's not good. But it had a big week last week. Yeah, 37%. That's pretty decent. But once again, there's no sales and it's got a, 3.4 billion market cap. So it's all speculation and that's fine. That's what we're all speculators here. We're speculating that certain companies are going to do better than others. This is just a little out of whack. That's all. So, yeah, you can't complain. You just have to play the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game, as somebody once said. I mean, these companies are not forcing anybody to buy them. But the investors want to speculate in these names, so they're going higher, much higher, man. These things are really super strong. I mentioned the flying machines too, the quantum computing and the flying machines. This is our Red Cat Holdings, RCAT, up 4% today. This has got a nice little base here. It's been about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 weeks here, 9 weeks here. Nice little base. That looks pretty darn good to me. That's a drone company. Who else do we have? AVAV. I don't think I put this one on my Reddit list. This one and Howmet were the two that I was contemplating. This one went up, I don't know, nearly 4% today, and I don't think Howmet did much. Still consolidating within a base here. Looks ready to break out. Those two look fantastic. And then KTOS, another one of these anything to do with the flying machines. Yeah, in quantum computing, they just went off today. This one you can see is just, it's been doing it for a long time. That one's on our RS list that I post every morning at mcstockcharts.com because it's got the volume and it's got the dollar volume and it's got the, above the moving averages and just a super strong stock. All right. That's it for the quantum. And I still have some more flying machines. Rocket Lab. I thought I put this one on the writer list and I looked back today. It was Roblox. I got them right next to each other. I picked the wrong R, but I do like this one. If you watched my post parade show this morning, I'd been talking about this one the last couple of days. Just like this setup here, and that went up 6% today. Once again, you're looking at a 25 billion market cap with about, oh, I don't know, 500 million in sales. At least they have 500 million in sales, but yeah, pretty rich. ASTS, these are all speculative, like I said, 20 billion market cap with, I don't know, they had 1 million in sales last quarter. But like I said, it's just a game. You got to trade them technically, like when they pull back to moving averages or here, breaking above a downtrend line here. So yeah, um, yeah, this is just how you have to play them technically because there's no fundamental. You can't look at their you can't look at their balance sheet and say, oh, we think they're going to earn, $10 next year and it should be $100 stock. They're not going to earn anything. They're losing money. And anyway, I'm just trying to point out that that's the game right now. Okay, a lot of speculation, a lot of froth in the market, a lot of liquidity, and that's what Jerome Powell doesn't like either. Seeing this, a lot of liquidity sloshing around, just rotating into stocks that really aren't worthy of it. But like I said, that's the game you got to play because this is what's being bought. UMAC had a good day yesterday, rallied up, through the 50, up to that buy point of 1338, then just pulled back today near that buy point there. So 14 looks good for UMAC. What else do I have here? I think that's it for the flying stuff. The quantums and defense. Okay, I'm going to move on. The software names, app loving. This thing was up, man, it's up like 670, I believe, today, then pulled back as it enters into the S&P 500 yesterday and then rallied today. It was up 670, closed at 651, so $20 off the lows, but excuse me, $20 off the highs. But just, this thing's is on a heater, just, surfing the fives. I mean, nothing to do here. Palantir had news today with Boeing, I guess a contract or some partnership or something, but it moved towards the end of the session. There's your spike right here. Looks like there was some buying here, and all of a sudden news came in. Somebody got wind of it and like pop. Yeah, so Palantir, yeah, nice day for Palantir. Forming a base here is another one that I've been talking about. All these stocks like, DoorDash and Spotify. Look at these charts, man. They look fantastic. They look ready to break out. Probably going to wait till earnings. Maybe till Netflix posts some earnings, whenever that'll be, October 21, so not too far away. What's today? I said the 23rd, so a month away still. So we got a ways to go. So that would be a big handle. But there's just a lot of these stocks like CrowdStrike. They're just, high-powered stocks that just look really good. This one needs some time, obviously, to form a handle. I showed you NVIDIA and Apple earlier, Microsoft. Yeah, there's just a lot of good-looking stocks out there that I think look good and are worthy of checking out. JBL is another one. Electrical Contracting Manufacturing Group. This one traded above its pivot today, and I'm just spitballing here as I I better get back to my themes. My themes are what did I have? Quantum stocks, flying things, yeah, overvalued stocks, and then software. Oh yeah, CoreWeave was upgraded this morning. The software group. This one looks pretty good. It's just rallied so hard off its lows there, 84 through the all its moving averages, and you can see the green line, the 5 went through the 50, now the 21's through the 50. It's heading in the right direction. Just had a little bit of a hiccup today, a little bit of a pullback as the market pulled back. And as my friend called me right at 1 o'clock to remind me, did you honor our holiday? Not really. I didn't do much today. But I do know that the holiday started, and so he's bragging because he bought some puts. So congrats if you're short and the market went down a little bit. I don't really look for shorts in a rip-roaring bull market. NBIS, another one that gapped up, power earnings gap higher and pulled back to its this is actually a contract. I forget, was it Microsoft, Oracle? I don't know. They had a deal with somebody. And then it pulled back to its 5, and now it's just surfing its 5. This thing's super strong. Every time it comes back to the 5, it's a sell. When it gets up like this, excuse me, every time it comes back to the 5, it's a buy, and every time it rips up, like this, probably a sell. But it did go through 100 like poop through a goose. It had that 100 level there on September 10th and pulled back, and then it came back the next time, which was Friday, 99.55, and then yesterday went through it like a champ and held today. With the Nasdaq being down, that was up more than 1%. So kudos to Nebius. Vert was down today, and this thing's trading wild for this stock. You can see it normally trades pretty tight. If I look at these little tight little bars here in this base, and now yesterday it got a wild hair and went up towards the end of the day and near a buy point, but then today pulled back and undercut yesterday's low on news that Microsoft has got some liquid cooling apparatus. I don't know, probably a nothing burger for these guys. Not going to cost them any business, but that's just how the market reacts to news. So I don't think it's a big deal. There it was yesterday, just kind of flat, and then whoop, and went ripped higher, and then nice held the gains into the close in today. The Microsoft news came and hit it hard. So Verta's trading kind of wild up and down, which is uncharacteristic for that stock. I still like it, and uh, I have it on my ready list, and that's kind of a fake out though. After yesterday's move, you'd expect it to, trade through that 153.50, but it's going to do it when it wants to do it on its own time. So you just got to be patient. SanDisk, this is one of these hard drive uh, data storage names. It won't go down. It's a Tom Petty stock. It's just like I talk about in the market, there's supply and demand, there's buyers and sellers, there's resistance and support. And this one's looking for resistance and it's just not finding any, It's like Oklo. Oklo is down the last couple of days and it just wants to close higher. Man, this thing closed up above 142 today. Incredible. So there's not a lot, but there's a few stocks that are in this price discovery mode here. And SanDisk is certainly one of them. Western Digital, kind of the same thing, although it did pull back today. Woo, man, big pullback. $2. This thing's been on a heater from 28 to 110. Yeah, thank you very much, four baggers. All right, where are we going next here? Oh, this one pulled back too. Seagate, yeah, Seagate pulled back just a little bit, made a new high and then pulled back. And then CAMT is one that's just on a heater as well, breaking out of this base here, rallied from 75 through its moving averages up to the buy point and went through 100 like poop through a goose here. On the 18th, which was what, Thursday, it hit 101, which is that old high, pulled back Friday, and then Monday said, the heck with you guys, I'm out of here. Yeah, I'm going to DD Mao. 100's in the rearview mirror. Hopefully, that looks promising for CamTech. All right, that's it for the hardware names. I'm going to get to some stuff you guys don't like. The gold stocks. Gold is at record highs. I mean, gold, silver, copper, the commodities are just melting up. And Harmony, this one looks pretty good to me. The only one I can find in a base, the rest of them are just kind of ripping higher here. There's Anglo Gold Ashanti, then Kinross Gold. This one's super strong. Barrick, just just way extended. SSRM, another one. Yeah, this one's at least, pulling back a little bit. PAAS is a silver play, pull back to the 21, and then Ivanhoe, copper play. This one's forming a nice little base here. Now it's above 10. I kind of like the looks of this one. If you don't want to chase stuff, this is a copper name. But they're not going to be pulling stuff out of the ground here for a while. You can see just the group is super strong. There's just a lot of them. CMCL, one that I don't talk about very often, Caledonia Mining, just surfing the five on a heater. CDE, this is, I guess this is, where are these guys from? Every time I look at it, I think of Coeur d'Alene, but I don't think it's Coeur d'Alene yet, Chicago. But anyway, COEUR, Coeur Mining, I guess. I don't know. Sorry if I butchered that. It's got the sales and growth. It's got triple digit earnings growth. So, these things got the fundamentals and they got the technicals. They're just ripping higher. The commodity itself is ripping higher. So, I know I talk about them every day and people are tired of it, but yeah, okay. This one, DRD, is just flying. The thing looks like a tech stock software. And then, yeah, AGI. Anyway, who cares? One that I own actually made a new high today. These are pretty easy holds, I got to admit, because they don't trade real wildly. So you're not going to get hurt on a real, downtrend, pullback. Not a downtrend, a pullback. And they're just kind of grinding higher if you look at the weekly charts. Yeah, I mean, lower left to upper right. They've been doing this for a long time. You can see these are, late stage bases. But, you can't fight the market. Like I said, you just got to go with the market that you have, not the one that you want. Speaking of sectors that I don't know, I shouldn't say anything. I'm kind of biased, but you shouldn't be. Um, this is DK, Delic US Holdings, broke out of a base, pulled back to the 21. Now it's surfing the 5. I mean, if that was Palantir or something, we'd be all over it. But this is an oil and gas refining stock, and it's just making new highs. And quietly, I don't hear anybody talking about that one. Who else do we have? FRO. This is a transportation pipeline, the tankers, oil and gas, and natural. Is this natural gas here? I'm not sure. Um, but LNG, the liquid natural gas here. Yeah, that one's setting up in a base, looks pretty decent. Not wildly, making new highs. Something that's actionable, right? These things are super strong, and yeah, I think some of these are actionable here. This is a STNG, another one of these transportation pipeline stocks, and you can see straight up off the lows, man, it's super strong here. Um, I don't think that bodes well, particularly well for our overall market, but man, these things are strong. Um, this is Imperial Oil. It's an integrated name. When you think of integrated stocks, you look at the peers here, Chevron, Suncor, British Petroleum. So and Taro midstream here. I think AM looks pretty good too here. Yeah, that looks good. Breaking out of a base. I kind of like that. Yeah. So, if you're going to buy one that's actionable that, these things are not going to move like, CoreWeave or something, though. They're a little more tame. I think they're a little easier to hold because they're not going to crush it. Coming out of a base, though, they're not going to rip up 20% in a day. That's not their style. What else do we have in this group? Man, there's a lot of them. Sorry, I'm going to stay with oil and gas and gold today. This is a breakout today, 6% move for PARR Pacific Holding. This is a refiner. So, in there with DK and Dino. Dino's an old one I used to trade. How's Dino looking? Yeah, Dino looks pretty good. Oh boy. Yeah. That's why it's got the red one. Yeah, I haven't traded these things in a long time. PBT, this is one of these royalty, Permian Basin royalty. They pay like a huge dividend. Man, look at that thing. This thing's on a heater from 8 to 18. Yeah, they pay another 2% yield. That's okay. Yeah, God, these things are. I have to buy an oil and gas stock now. I know Halliburton was doing well. Yeah, breaking out above the 200 today. What else did I write down here? There's so many of them. Baker Hughes, this is a rig. I'm surprised this one's up because the rig count's way down. We're not drilling as much because of the price of oil, and OPEC has released a ton of oil for the next 12 months. They're trying to glut the market, which will hurt our, companies, but man, the stocks are not showing it at all. SBR, this is another one of these royalty names. This is paying like a 7% yield. Pays just 7% to hold it. Broke out, God, a few weeks ago, man. I'm sleeping on these. I mean, this is, thinly traded, 40,000, no sales or earnings growth, but the stock, technically, it's just surfing the five. So that's kind of what you have to go by in this market. Not all the time, but, right now for sure. All right, I'm going to get out of that. Sorry about that. Since I'm on energy, I got to go to these energy names. They pulled back today. GEV still trading within a base. That one looks, I like it, but I put it on my ready list last week. I think it was down like, what was it, down 6% last week? Oh, no, it was flat last week. Not too bad. It's just I expected more. And yeah, it's okay. GEV, LEU has been on a heater. I think it gave some back today. Not bad. Broke out of a base. SMR, I believe that one gave some back. Yeah, hit up 47 Friday. Yesterday hit 47 or maybe a tick above it and then just pull back. So it needs to close above 47 there for me to be interested in that one. Who else do we have in this one? Oh, CEG pulled back a little bit today. Mm, yeah, these energy names, VST, kind of the same thing. Talon is one that I think I had on my ready list last week at 400. That one's holding up okay, 423. Who else do we have in here? Oh, of course, OKLO, the leader of the pack. Can't go down. It's a Tom Petty stock. Yeah, I mean, ridiculous. I mean, I don't know where you buy this thing. It did pull back to its five on Monday. Let's see what that looks like. But man, this is price discovery. I don't know where this thing's going to stop. 150, 160, 200. I don't know. But it'll form a base at some point, or it'll pull back, and give somebody a chance to get in maybe at the 21 or something, or the 10 or the 8. This is just one of the strongest stocks in the market right now. Making new highs on a daily basis. All right. I think that's it for the energy group. I'm going to stop there, I believe. Oh, no. Bloom Energy. This one has been on our relative strength list every morning for a while now. As this thing broke out back in July. July, there was $30 back in July, broke out, and it's just been surfing the whole way. Man, yesterday traded at 86. Yeah, $30 to 86, nearly a three bagger. And now it's time to give some back. That's nothing wrong with that. All right. Oh, LTBR. This is not one that yeah, this one breaking out here too. Looks pretty decent here. Yeah. Light bridge. I wrote that down for a reason. That's why. Yep. It looked like it was going to break out from that 1770 level. It was a fake breakout. Pull back to the 50. bounced around, sloshed around, squatted here for a couple weeks, and then boom, Friday moved 20%. Yesterday 10, and today, the third day three up 3.5%. So that one looks pretty decent. All right, so that's energy, oil and gas, gold, software, some hardware, quantum, flying machines. I've got to get to these guys. The data center group, this one was upgraded today, and it looked like it was going to really move higher, but it's just getting so extended from its five. There you go at the open, it was up 44 and a quarter. Pull back, closed at 41 77, but still, I mean, it's still 5.5% above its five, and it's just surfing the five. So if it does pull back to the five, it's probably go time once again for that one. CIFR, super strong name. Maybe this holiday for the rest of this week, and then up to Wednesday of next week, maybe we will get some softness and weakness that we can trade. This one's up 15% after hours. I don't know what's going on, but I'll find out. Have it for you in the morning. Very actively traded here. It's up 20% now. So somebody's buying that stock. What else do we have here in this group? Oh, Wolf. I know some folks like Wolf or own Wolf, and just this one's a little more tamer. Made that big run. They had the deal with Google, pulled back the moving average. Now it's just surfing its five, doing nothing wrong, down 2% today, while the Nasdaq was down 1%. That looks totally fine to me. What else do we have in this group here? Man, I got all these things. I can't read my own writing. I've come to that stage of my life. I just scribble stuff down. All right, some more hardware stuff. Just semiconductors. AEHR had to point this out, man. This thing is just surfing the five, super strong name. And then ACMR, another semiconductor equipment stock, just super strong. I want to see how these applied materials. Yeah, this one's right at a buy point there at 201 and ASML. Yeah, this super strong name here as well. All right. I wanted to go to the housing names before I get out of here. DHI, I've been pointing this out. It's been making this handle, and now today, like it made a low yesterday, 162.82, and then kind of retested that low today and closed near the high of the session today. So this thing might be done going down here in the handle. It's a beautiful cup with handle pattern. It's been down like 3 weeks in a row here. This is the third week as it pulled back to its 10-week line. Yeah, that's definitely something to watch there, I believe. Pulte Homes, the rates are coming down, even though Powell's whining about the high valuations. The rates are coming in, and it should be good for the housing market. What else do I have on here? Oh, NVR. This is the $8,000 stock, but it's got a cup with handle too. So they're all looking pretty similar here. And I think they maybe can break out maybe in Q4 here as we get into October. All right. Oh, open. I get asked about open more than any stock ever. I don't know what's going on with open. People really like this stock. I mean, obviously it made a big move, but once it breaks that pattern, I showed you this many, many times. Once it breaks this pattern of, rising up, forming a flag, and then, gapping higher, then forming a flag, and then gapping higher, then forming a flag. And it's just pulling back to the five every time, and then it gapped up and then it pulled back to the five. But whoops, this time, yesterday, it undercut the five, undercut last week's low, and then today followed through to the downside 15%. It's down 26% this week, so that's quite a haircut. But it went from 50 cents to $10. It was a 20 bagger. So for it to retrace is normal. I know if you're long this stock, this is pretty harsh. I have some friends who are just holding on, and it hurts. It's painful, no doubt. But the 10-week line is 516, and that would be like a 50% retracement from the low to the high. So that's still got some ways to go, I think. On the downside, I know it's here at the 21, but this is not ready to buy. Like, when do you buy it? Well, when it starts bouncing higher. Yeah, it's got I think it filled the gap here today. Yeah, 732. That's fine. So that gap there is filled, but I think it still has just more room to go on the downside, unfortunately. There's a lot of inside sellers here, so a lot of people are getting canned. They're laying off 85% of their workforce. And so those people are selling, all the RSUs that have been giving to them over their tenure there at Open Door. Now they're getting out and saying, screw you to the management. I'm selling my stock. If you had it for all these years and you worked at Open Door and it's $2 and $3 stock, or even if that, right? Yeah, $1.68, $1.57, just down, 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 and then all of a sudden it's at $10. Well, yeah, you'd be stupid not to sell some of your stock anyway. Even if you are getting canned, you should probably still hold on to some because that could go to 20, 30. I think the CEO gets paid at 33. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. At mcstockcharts.com, we never give up. Except in honor of the great Steve Jobs, I have one more thing. I forgot to mention the drug stocks. This is INSM, one that I like a lot. Just forming that 3 weeks tight pattern. I like tight trading here near the moving average after a big move. That one could explode higher at any time. What else do we have here? ETON. I don't even know what these guys do. ETON. Deer Park, Illinois, develops therapeutic for rare diseases. What is the Wilson disease? I'd have to look at that. Up 8% this week, though. And this one, yeah, breaking out. Nice move today out of this base here. The other one was RPRX, another one that I don't know how these drug stocks do. Royalty Pharma. Yeah. Anyway, those are my three drug stocks for today. And I really wanted to get to Micron, and yeah, this is up. This is why those other stocks were up. Micron reported, and the stock's up, and this is kind of the leader of the group as far as market cap and everything. So if you look at like Pure Storage, see if they can get some pin action tomorrow. STX, not that they really need it. I mean, SanDisk is in this group. WDC, yeah, they're all up after hours here, up 1.5%. So that's good. That bodes well for the hardware names tomorrow, something like Dell. This is how my mind thinks, right? Supermicro, yeah, boy, phew. An oldie but goodie. That thing was good to me, so it'll always have a place in my heart. But I can't go back to the scene of the crime. It's just wallowing around here. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up. Have a great evening.